welcome to Edupedia World Grade 10 Computer Science Video Lecture Series. I'm Upeka Vandibona, and from this episode we are going to discuss about the types and objects in C++ language. The notion of type is central to C++ language and most other programming languages. Let's take a closer look and slightly more technical look at the types, specifically at the types of the objects in which we store our data during the computations. But before that, let's get familiar with the terminologies. Type, object, value, variables, declaration, and definition. We will use these words very much often, so it's better to get the idea of what they mean. A type. It defines a set of possible values and a set of operations for an object. An object. It is some memory that holds a value of a given type. A value. It is a set of bits in memory interpreted according to a type. A variable. We already discussed about that in the previous episode. We learned how to name a variable. So a variable is a named object. Declaration. Declaration is a statement that gives a name to an object. And a definition is a declaration that sets aside memory for an object. I hope now you got the idea what they mean. So let's move forward. Informally, we think of an object as a box into which we can put values of a given type. For example, int box can hold integers, string box can hold character string values, and something like what you see in here. Here we have int a equals 7, int b equals 9, those are numbers. Char c equals a, here we have a single character and we need to put single quotations around the value. Double x equals 1.2, that's a decimal value. String s1 equals hello world, there we need to put double quotations around the value. String s2 equals 1.2. Now the last statement here is not a decimal value, it's a string representation of the decimal value 1.2. We cannot use that variable for mathematical expressions. The representation of a string is a bit more complicated than that of an int because a string keeps track of the numbers of characters it holds. Here in these examples, for the string variable s1, it holds 13 characters. HELLO, space, WORLD, exclamation point, all are 13 characters. For the last statement, the string variable s2, it holds 3 characters. 1, the decimal point, and 2, all are 3. Now remember, the double quotation marks surround the value doesn't count. It is not stored in the memory. It is just only for the identification to say it's a string value. Now every int is of the same size. That means the compiler sets aside the same fixed amount of memory for each int. On a typical desktop computer, that amount is 4 bytes. That means 32 bits. Similarly, bools, chars, and doubles are fixed size. You will typically find that a desktop computer uses a 1 byte, that means 8 bits, for a bool or a char, and 8 bytes for a double. Note that different types of objects take up different amounts of space. In particular, a char takes up less space than an int, and string differs from double, int, and char in that different strings can take up different amounts of space. The meaning of bits in memory is completely dependent on the type used to access it. Think of it this way. Computer memory doesn't know about our type. It's just memory. The bits of memory get meaning only when we decide how that memory is to be interpreted. This is similar to what we do every day when we use numbers. For example, what does 12.5 means to you? You don't know. It could be $12.5, it could be 12.5 centimeters, or 12.5 gallons. Only when we supply the unit notation, it tells us what 12.5 means. Now take a look at what's shown in here. The very same bits of memory that represent the value 120 when looked upon as an int would be the character x when looked upon as a char. If looked at as a string, it wouldn't make sense at all and would become a runtime error if we try to use it. We can illustrate this graphically like shown in here, using ones and zeros to indicate the value of bits in memory. Remember, a bit is a unit of computer memory that can hold the value 0 or 1. This is the setting of the bits of an area of memory, a word, that could be read as an int 120 or char character x. Every object is given a type when it is defined. A program or a part of a program is type safe when objects are used only according to the rules of their type. Unfortunately, there are ways of doing operations that are not type safe. For example, using a variable before it has been initialized is not considered type safe. Therefore, always initialize your variables. Take it as a habit. It will save you from a lot of grief. Now we are talking about an important concept called type safe conversions. We cannot directly add chars or compare double to an int. However, C++ provides an indirect way to do both. When needed, a char is converted into int and an int is converted into a double. For example, look at what's shown in here. In the first statement, we define the character variable c and initialize it with the character value x. In the second statement, we define an int variable i1 and put the value of the character variable c into this variable int i1. In the third statement, we define another int variable i2 and assign the character value x. If we try to get the c out of the int variables i1 and i2, you will get the value 120. It is the integer value of the character x in the most popular 8-bit character set, ASCII. This is a simple and safe way of getting the numeric representation of a character. We call this char to int conversion safe because no information is lost. That means we can copy the resulting int back into a char and get the original value. That's what happened in the fourth statement. We defined the character variable c2 and assigned the value of the variable i1 into this variable c2. Now take a notice. We have defined a char variable and trying to assign an int variable value. C++ allows this because we need to do the conversion among chars and int. In the same way, we can do bool to char, bool to int, bool to double, and char to int, char to double, and int to double. These conversions are safe. We call it type safe conversions. Safe conversions are usually an advantage to the programmer and simplify writing code. Unfortunately, C++ also allows for unsafe conversions. We call it implicit conversions. By unsafe, we mean that a value can be implicitly turned into a value of another type that does not equal to the original value. There is another name for this, narrowing conversions, because they put a value into an object that may be too small to hold it. Unfortunately, few compilers warn about the unsafe initialization of the char with an int. The problem is that an int is typically much larger than a char, so that it can hold an int value that cannot be represented as a char. But C++ compiler accepts them even though they are unsafe. Take a look at this example. In this program, I start with defining a double variable d and initializing it with the value 3.4. In the second statement, I define the int variable I and assign the double variable d into it. It is trying to squeeze a double into an int. In the third statement, I define a character variable c and assign the int variable I into it. It is also trying to do the squeezing. In the fourth statement, I define another int variable i2 and trying to assign the variable c into it. In the cout, I am trying to get the outputs of the variable d, variable I and variable I2 and the character variable C. Let's try to execute this program and see what output we can obtain. In the output here, for the variable D, we got the actual value 3.4. For the variable I, it is only capturing the integer part. In the narrowing down process, it has lost the decimal part. Now I'll go for the fourth output. It is trying to output the character value of the integer value 3. It's a heart symbol. So you can see in the output, the character is the heart symbol. Now I go for the third output. In here, it is trying to assign the character value into the integer variable I2. So again, that heart character is represented as an integer value 3. So that's how the output goes on. You will find that many input values produce unreasonable results, like as ignoring the decimal part. Basically, here we are trying to put a gallon into a pint pot, like 4 liters into a 500 milliliter glass. Here we have listed down the unsafe conversion types: double to int, double to char, double to bool, into char, into bool, char to bool. They are unsafe in the sense that the value stored might differ from the value assigned. Why can this be a problem? Because often we don't suspect that an unsafe conversion is taking place. Consider this code segment. Double x equals 2.7, and it is trying to assign this double variable value into an int variable y. Now the y becomes 2. It ignores the decimal point 0.7. If there are many code lines between the two statements, by the time we define the y, we may have forgotten that x was a double, or we may have temporarily forgotten that a double to int conversion truncates. That means always round down towards the 0 rather than using the conventional rounding. What happens is perfectly predictable, but there is nothing in the int y equal x statement to remind us that the information 0.7 is thrown away. Conversion from int to char don't have problems with truncation, but neither int nor char can represent a fraction of an integer. However, a char can hold only very small integer values. On a PC, a char is 1 byte, whereas int is 4 bytes. So we can't put a large number such as 1000 into a char without loss of information. The value is narrowed. For example, the value can becomes minus 24, where it makes no sense. And with that, we are going to wind up this session. In here, we have learned about the data types and type conversions. From the next episode, we are going to learn how to be a C++ programmer. There we discuss the most important basic things that you should know if you are a C++ programmer. So stay tuned on with Edupedia World, and thank you for watching.